6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madavella and read by Mario Vijayawardena. The headlines. The no-confidence motion against Power and Energy Minister Udaya Gammanpila was defeated in Parliament yesterday, with 61 MPs voting for and 152 against it. An agreement will be reached with all the rice mill owners in the country within the next 2 weeks. The Litro Gas Company assures that there is no shortage of gas despite LAF's Gas deciding to suspend imports. The Cabinet has approved to sell the newly introduced 18-litre domestic gas cylinder for 1,150 rupees. Muslims across the world celebrate Eid ul-Adha or the Hajj festival today. French President Macron identified as spyware target. India beat Sri Lanka by 3 wickets at the second ODI and won the series as well. The no-confidence motion against the Power and Energy Minister Udaya Gammanpila was defeated in Parliament yesterday, with 61 MPs voting for and 152 against it. The motion was defeated during an electronic vote taken yesterday after 2 days of debate. The Samagi Jana Balavega, the Tamil National Alliance and the Janata Vimukti Peramuna voted in support of the motion. However, some SJB members who had supported the government during the vote on the 20th Amendment to the Constitution had also voted against the motion yesterday. The NCM against Minister Gammanpila was handed over to Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abeyewardene on June 22nd. The NCM alleged that the Energy Minister had sanctioned the increase of fuel prices without the approval of the Cabinet of Ministers in violation of the Constitution. Agriculture Minister Mahindananda Aluthkamage told Parliament yesterday that an agreement will be reached with all the rice mill owners in the country within the next 2 weeks. Responding to MP Rohana Bandara during the questions round in Parliament yesterday, he noted that it had been arranged to purchase paddy between 50 rupees to 52 rupees per kilo. MP Bandara said that with the government's decision to import rice into the country, the small-scale rice mill owners have stopped purchasing paddy from the farmers for fear of not being able to market their stocks. He said that while the government had made the same promise to the maize farmers, they were left helpless with their stocks of maize and were unable to pay their bank loans when the government decided to import. The minister said that currently the fine imposed on those who sold rice at higher prices was 2,500 rupees, adding that steps would be taken to increase the fine to 100,000 rupees. He told Parliament that in the future, the price of paddy and rice would be determined by the government, adding that measures are being taken to guarantee farmers a certified price for their produce. The Litro Gas Company assures that there is no shortage of gas despite LAF's Gas deciding to suspend imports. The chairman of Litro Gas, Teshara Jayasinghe, said that the company is in a position to meet the gas requirements of the entire country. He said that despite LAF's Gas, which covers 20% of consumers in the country, suspending imports, Litro Gas Lanka is capable of supplying gas to cover even those consumers as well. The chairman further said the public can purchase domestic gas using any type of cylinders and in any colour from Litro Gas Lanka. He assures that the company is well stocked at present and is currently in a position to address the future demands for gas cylinders as well. Reiterating that there will not be a shortage of domestic gas in Sri Lanka, he urges the public to refrain from panicking in this regard. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
A giant interest rate for your fixed deposit that you deposit this month. Call 0718 800 999.
The Cabinet has approved to sell the newly introduced 18-litre domestic gas cylinder for 1,150 rupees. Accordingly, consumers will be able to purchase an 18-litre gas cylinder with a saving of 245 rupees when compared to the earlier price. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said yesterday that local gas prices will not be increased, although the gas price in the world market could increase. LAF's Gas Company supplies 20% of the local domestic gas consumption. The Litro Gas Company company said they are prepared to fill gas into cylinders with any color. The company said they are in a position to import the necessary capacity in the future. It emphasized that the public should not be afraid of any gas shortage in the market. Muslims across the world celebrate Eid al-Adha or the Hajj festival today. Eid al-Adha is also known as the festival of sacrifice. The observance commemorates Prophet Ibrahim's readiness to sacrifice his son in order to demonstrate his dedication. Eid al-Adha or the Hajj festival takes place on the 10th day of the final month of the Islamic lunar calendar, Dhul Hajj, which is the 12th and most sacred month of the Islamic year, during which observant Muslims travel to the holy city of Mecca for Hajj. The Hajj is the pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca, and all able-bodied adults of the Islamic faith are expected to complete Hajj at least once in their lifetime. Issuing a message, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that the Hajj festival is a spiritual celebration that displays the spirit of mutual understanding, compassion, and the exchange of fond greetings among the Islam devotees the world over. Quote, I believe this is also a significant period in which the Muslim community bestows their traditions upon the future generation, unquote. All religious leaders have shown the concepts and principles that are needed for the well-being of humans. The contribution made by those erudite teachings and principles to strengthen peaceful coexistence by enhancing social and spiritual values is highly praiseworthy. It is vital for the better sustenance and continuity of the world. The President of the Maldives, Ibrahim Mohamed Solih, and First Lady Fazna Ahmed arrived in Sri Lanka yesterday on a 3-day visit. A contingent of 15 top-level Maldivian Foreign Ministry officials accompanied Mr. Solih to the island. A special flight chartered by Sri Lankan Airlines with the Maldivian delegates aboard landed at the Bandaranaike International Airport last morning. That's local news.
Now, get your EPF loan information and service details via SMS from HDFC Bank. Wherever you are, being a state and private sector employee, to obtain EPF loan information and service details, just send a SMS mentioning EPF space, name and region to 0718 800 999. HDFC Bank, the bank for your home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Trade Minister Dr. Bandulu Gunawardena said that a tax system to charge goods imported online would be considered. Responding to a question raised by MP Mohammed Muzammil during the oral questions round in Parliament yesterday, the minister said that practices in other parts of the world would also be taken into consideration. MP Muzammil said that there are many issues regarding the quality of goods imported through the online trade. He said that the e-commerce trade has grown rapidly at present and special attention should be paid in this regard.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And now in Watchlight, Police spokesman Senior DIG Ajit Rohana said the police will implement special operations to nab quarantine lawbreakers in view of the upcoming long weekend. He said special roadblocks would be set up at the entry and exit points of the Western Province and the entry points of other districts during this period. He said the public can cross the borders only to receive treatment or attend the funerals of close relatives. That came to you in Watchlight. And now in world news headlines, Pegasus French President Macron identified as spyware target. Thousands evacuated in China as rail stations and roads submerged. Top Trump aide accused of working as foreign agent. French President Emmanuel Macron is one of several world leaders believed to have been targeted for phone hacking using spyware, media reports say. The software known as Pegasus infects phones and allows operators to spy on their targets. The leaders are on a list of some 50,000 phone numbers of people believed to be of interest to clients of Israeli-based firm NSO Group. The list was leaked to major news outlets. NSO denies any wrongdoing. It says the software is intended for use against criminals and terrorists. It says it is made available only to military, law enforcement and intelligence agencies with good human rights records. Torrential rain has caused severe flooding in parts of central China, forcing people from their homes and leaving stations and roads submerged. More than 10,000 people in Henan have been evacuated to shelters following the record rainfall. At least 12 people have died in the city of Zhengzhou since the flooding began, authorities there confirmed. More than a dozen cities have been affected, with main roads forced to close and flights cancelled. Henan province, which is home to some 94 million people, has issued its highest level of weather warnings following an unusually active rainy season. Many factors contribute to flooding, but a warming atmosphere caused by climate change makes extreme rainfall more likely. Billionaire and long-time Donald Trump ally Thomas J. Barrack has been arrested in LA for allegedly acting as an agent of a foreign government. The 74-year-old investment firm founder served as a key advisor to the former U.S. president's 2016 campaign and was considered a top fundraiser. Mr. Barrack is accused of illegally lobbying on behalf of the United Arab Emirates during and after the campaign. A spokesman for Mr. Barrack said he planned to plead not guilty. He is the latest ex-Trump official to face federal charges. Mr. Barrack is charged with conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and making multiple false statements to the FBI during a 2019 interview. And now the main points of the world news segment once again. Pegasus French President Macron identified as spyware target. Thousands evacuated in China as rail stations and roads submerged. Top Trump aide accused of working as foreign agent. That was world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
In line with the mandate of the State Ministry of Regional Cooperation to enhance economic relations with the Middle East, the State Minister of Regional Cooperation Tariq Balasuriya held a phone discussion with the Minister of Industry, Commerce and Tourism of the Kingdom of Bahrain, Zayed bin Rashid Al Zayani. This discussion was initiated to bolster Sri Lanka's economic ties in the Middle East region. The two ministers explored means of enhancing economic relations, including trade and investment between the two countries. During the discussion, State Minister Balasuriya highlighted the investment opportunities at the port city of Colombo, the gateway to South Asia, and invited Bahraini investors to seize abundant offerings of this special economic zone.
Development News was brought to you by
Quality matters than price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
And now in sports news, India beat Sri Lanka by 3 wickets at the second ODI held in Colombo last night. Batting first, Sri Lanka scored 275 runs for the loss of 9 wickets. Charita Salanka 65, Avishka Fernando 50 and Chamika Kannaratne scored 44. Bhuvneshwar Kumar took 3 wickets. In reply, India hit the target score in the last over, losing 7 wickets. Deepak Chahar 69 and Suryakumar Yadav scored 53. Deepak Chahar was judged as the man of the match. India has won the series with 2 victories.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Savings account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Apple is delaying the return of staff to its offices as global COVID cases rise, Bloomberg reports. The iPhone maker had intended to bring workers in for 3 days a week from September, but this had now been put back until at least October, the news agency said. Sources told Bloomberg employees would be given at least a month's notice before having to return.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Savings account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
And now in economic news, Production at some of Nike's largest plants in Vietnam has been disrupted as COVID has spread through factories. The company refused to comment on whether store supplies would see shortages as a result of the outbreak. About half of Nike's shoes were manufactured in Vietnam in the last financial year, so this will mean challenges for its supply chain. Vietnam has seen a record rise in cases since last April, with many infection clusters in its industrial provinces. Apple, Samsung and Puma could also be affected by the surge in cases recorded at suppliers' factories in the country. That was economic news.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Several spells of showers will occur in the Sabaragamu and the central provinces. A few showers will occur in the western province and in the Gala and Mathura districts. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. Fairly strong gusty winds up to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour are likely across the island, and strong gusty winds up to 60 kilometers per hour can be expected in the western slopes of the central hills, the north central and the northwestern provinces, and in the Hambantota and the Trincomalee districts.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The no-confidence motion against Power and Energy Minister Udaya Gammanpilla was defeated in Parliament yesterday, with 61 MPs voting for and 152 against it. An agreement will be reached with all the rice mill owners in the country within the next 2 weeks. The Litro Gas Company assures that there is no shortage of gas despite Laughs Gas deciding to suspend imports. The Cabinet has approved to sell the newly introduced 18-litre domestic gas cylinder for 1,150 rupees. Muslims across the world celebrate Eid al-Adha or the Hajj festival today. French President Macron identified as spyware target. India beat Sri Lanka by 3 wickets at the second ODI and won the series as well. That concludes this news broadcast.